Hi. I bet most of you don't even know that I wear glasses because I wear contacts most of the time. And I'm popping on in my pajamas with my coffee this morning because I was just scrolling through a Facebook group and I saw something that I think comes up a lot and I just want to address it here. I'm careful about commenting in Facebook groups, but it felt important to say here for anyone who finds this video. I did record another podcast yesterday. I'm not sure when it will come out, about resentment, and there are two others that I can think of already on my podcast. But this was a thread in a post-abortion group where someone said, I had an abortion this past year and I'm pregnant again. Well, first of all, I had an abortion this past year. I resent my partner. He doesn't want this pregnancy, even though he supports me, whatever I decide. And I don't want to resent him again. And it follows with like, I don't know, a lot of comments that say, don't terminate, you'll regret it, you'll feel guilty the rest of your life, you'll resent him, just like have the baby, it'll be so healing, on and on and on. And there are a couple in there that that don't have that, basically that same message. And it just, I have to say, it breaks my heart a little bit. Because I'm not saying it's a wrong choice to keep additional unplanned pregnancy in a relationship that isn't like traditionally prepared to have a baby. But what I am saying is, when we choose to bring children into the world because we're afraid to feel resentment, we're afraid to feel guilt, that is, oh God, I might regret this, but it's kind of cruel. Like, it's kind of cruel. And I'm not saying that we don't turn around and completely love those children and become amazing mothers, parents. But basically what we're saying in that decision, and it can go lots of directions, right? It can be very healing for people. But basically what we're saying in that decision is, I'm so afraid of my own feelings that I am going to ask this child to heal my wounds, to heal my relationship. And I just don't think it's, I was going to say I don't think it's okay, but it is okay. It happens. It is what so many of us feel capable. It's like all we feel capable of doing in that moment. Our fear of suffering again is so big that we would bring a child into the world, not in every relationship, but oftentimes into an unhealthy relationship, into unfinancially stable family, into stress. And does a parent's love outweigh lack of resources, stress? Do we need to be 100% fully prepared to raise a child with like college funds and, you know, whatever? No. I raised children on very little money. We're still scraping by. I shouldn't say it that way. We're not scraping by. We live a very beautiful life, but it's not abundantly wealthy. I chose to be a stay-at-home mom of 3 kids and made a lot of sacrifices to do that. Like, we weren't eating what we wanted to be eating. We weren't traveling the way we wanted to be traveling. I wasn't putting my kids in, I'm still not putting my kids in all the classes I wish they could take. I'm making hard choices, like investing in myself over traveling with family. it's not easy, but I did it very consciously. And the fact that we would choose to bring children into the world, into containers that aren't ready for them, because we're afraid to feel guilt, resentment, shame, sadness, grief, it just breaks my heart a little bit, because our feelings are in our control. It's not easy. I'm not saying that it feels good to feel resentment. I'm not saying it feels good to feel grief or it feels good to feel guilt. But I am saying that we can invest in our own mental well-being and change that situation so that when we choose to have children, whether our containers are ready or not, it's a conscious choice. It's not like by default, I'm going to have this child and figure it out because I don't want to be mad at my partner. Like, it is accepted as the norm that, like, of course you would keep the baby so you don't have to hurt again. And it just feels very self-centered to me. Like, raising children is a big fucking deal. And I don't think this is like the stay-at-home mom in me, like this is the mom in me who's like, this is the most important job we will ever do. Raising children is the most important job we will ever do. And I say that almost sarcastically because there's a lot of most important jobs we will ever do. Healing ourselves is one of the most important jobs we will ever do. Having healthy relationships, one of the most important jobs we will ever do. Finding fulfilling careers and work, one of the most important jobs we will ever do. Saving the environment, one of the most important jobs we will ever do. So I'm not putting it like on a pedestal above all else, but I am wanting to give it the credit that it's due. It's a big deal. And the way we willy-nilly just raise families in this country, in this world, it's just sad to me. I think, and I get it. I get it. No one is helping us. That, like, mental health sucks. Nobody's out there saying, like, wow, you're having a hard time. You're feeling resentful. You're feeling guilty. Like, let's talk about it. I want to help you work through those feelings. Nobody is an exaggeration, right? But that kind of mental health is something that we have to seek out. We have to actively work for. And so, of course, people don't know that resentment is a choice. That even if it's not a choice, even if it is an unavoidable reality that we will resent something, which I don't think it is, but, like, even if it is, how we feel about that is optional, right? Like, I'll use the regret example, right? Like, there are things in my life that I regret. My abortion, not one of them. But there are things in my life I regret. My thoughts about that regret are not, I made the right choice, I'm a bad person, I should have known better. My choices are, I learned some important lessons. Now I know what I want to go after. And resentment is the same way. Like, even if you can never eliminate resentment in your life, you get to heal. You always get to heal. Always, always, always. It may involve some combination of tools, some mental health mind attention, some mental health body attention, some mental health unconscious, subconscious attention, some mental health medical support. You get to heal, and And if you think you can't heal and you don't get to heal, my perhaps controversial opinion is we shouldn't be choosing to bring children into the world, into stressed out, unhealthy relationships, unhealthy containers, unhealthy families, as the norm. I might post this and then regret it because I feel very passionate about it, but it's just so deeply sad to me that our inability to manage our own mental health, our unwillingness as a society to take care of each other, it is no fault of any person in that thread saying, have the baby, have the baby, have the baby. You don't want to feel, I had a second termination and I feel terrible. Like, it is no fault of any person in that thread that they are where they are. And they can start taking responsibility and not feel those feelings they don't want to feel. Change the way they feel about those feelings. Not project their own experience onto another human being. I just think we have to take more self-responsibility, and we need to work to change the systems. It's not okay that we think as a society it's normal to bring a child into the world because we're worried about how we will feel if we don't. We have to fix it. We have to talk about abortion care in a different way. We have to talk about mental health in a different way. We have to do better because our kids deserve better. And that's my morning rant.